Hi folks, it's Colin Fraser from i3D Themes. Today I'd like to show you how to update the Bootstrap slider. In this video I'll be using the Oxygen template as an example, and I'll be using Expression Web 4 for our Microsoft customers. Now the things I'll show you or demonstrate how to change first will be the image in the background. I'll also show you how to change the title, the description, the button, any text that goes along with that image. We'll show you how to remove slides, add slides, also how to change the slide intervals so you can have more or less time between each image. And we'll also show you how to make sure that all the buttons that go back and forth here are updated at the same time. So with that said, let's jump in. I'm going to open up Expression Web right here, and what we're going to do is go right into the library, sliders, and the Bootstrap slider folder. We're going to open up the include page, bootstrapslider.htm. And when we open up this page in design view, what stands out right away is we see the image. Below the image is the title, a description, and this text right here that looks like a link, that's actually the button. So those are the four pieces that we would change for each slide. And as we scroll down the page, we see the next image, the next title, description, and button text right there. And you can actually go ahead and use the tools in Expression Web to make these adjustments as you would a normal image or text in a page. So we'll start with the image itself. If you want to change an image, you can just simply double-click on the image to open up the picture properties. Now before you do that, I would like to recommend that the image size you use as a replacement is 1920 pixels, 1920 wide by 1080 tall, 1080 pixels tall, 1920 by 1080. That is a true HD sized image, and it will work wonderfully across all browsers. If you try to use something bigger or smaller, the image will attempt to scale to fit the browser window, but if it's a lot smaller, it may look a little pixelated and slightly ugly. So if you can use it, the bigger the better, and the higher the quality of the image, the better to start with. And I recommend you put your images right here in the images folder for the Bootstrap slider. As we have all the images right here, it just keeps things organized. I know I've run into situations in the past where folks like to have their images put into separate folders for separate categories and things like that, and you can definitely do that as long as you keep your linkage and the path to your image correct. And the best way to do that is to, when you replace an image, is to double click on it to open up the picture properties. Use the browse button and browse to whatever folder your image is located in. In this example, we'll go into the library folder, and we'll go into the sliders folder, and Bootstrap slider, and images, and we'll select a new image. In this case, we're going to be replacing our full screen slider 1 with full screen slider 5. So I just select the image, and as you can see when I hover over it, tells me right there that it's 1920 by 1080. So I just select it, I click open. I'll just move that up so you can see it better. Open and OK. Now one thing you have to do right away is double click on the image again, go to the appearance tab, and make sure specify size is not selected. Unselect that. If you leave that selected, the image will not scale on different resolutions and mobile devices. We want to make sure it scales. So when we flip it over, if we were to actually go to the code view, as many of you may be doing already, our slides are commented with an opening and closing comment tag. The image is right here. You can just see the link right here to the only image tag in that particular piece of code. And if you want, you can just simply change the path to the new image right here by updating it manually. After that, you could also change the title, the description, the button name. It's all right here, and then there's a link for the button right there if you want to do it in code or in design view. Just simply select the text and new name here, retype it. And for the link, what I suggest you do is right click, select hyperlink properties, change the button name right here, and then link to your page by selecting the page that you want to link to or typing in the full address right here. So change the button name, text there, and then link to your page by using the hyperlink tool. All right, so that is how to change a picture, title, description, and the button. Now, what if you want to add a slide? Simply pop into your page, select an entire block of slide code, and it's commented so you can see it here. You just start to finish, copy, scroll on down, paste in here, and just to make sure, to help keep things organized, change the slide 4 to slide 5. This is a class that is not used in all templates. In some templates it is, but in order to keep things organized for you, I would recommend you rename it in sequential order. Okay, that's all you have to do. To remove a slide, same thing. You find the slide you want to remove, select the comment tags, open to close, and delete. Just like that. That's how to remove them. Okay, so fairly straightforward in that regard. Now, when you're adding new slides, you also have to consider the little button we have here at the bottom. These are not added automatically. You must do it yourself. To do it, you're going to go into Code View, and this is where you see these weird numbers up at the top of the page. All right, I have to scroll over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are actually the bullet list numbers that are converted into the dots that you see. And what you need to do when you add a new slide is copy the last line and paste. Then you have to rename it so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now our slides start with number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That does not necessarily correspond with the actual class name. So these are not the same. Bootstrap slide 1 has nothing to do with the data slide. Just so you know, two separate things. We have to start sequential 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the class names, we start with slide 1 and slide 2 and slide 3 and slide 4, just so you know. If you remove a slide, you also need to remove the last LI or bullet list item tag right here. So if you only have 3 slides, you would need 3 list items numbered 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell. As far as updating the pictures, the titles, etc., the last thing you want to do is update the data interval, or the amount of time that the image goes from one to another. Now, in the default setting, it may be set to a high number so that the first slide stays on the page, and this basically enables a manual type slide for the visitor. Basically, this is set to 80 seconds in this example because it's 80,000, which is milliseconds, 80 seconds. If you wanted to change this to 8 seconds, you would type in 8,000, like so. So it's basically the number of seconds you want plus 3 zeros. If you wanted 10 seconds, it'd be 10 plus 3 zeros, or 10,000. And that's how you change the speed, or sorry, the time between each slide. And like I said, a lot of the times we'll have it set to a high number, so that way the main image that's being displayed with the main piece of text is displayed for a longer period of time, giving the visitor time to read the message. And then if they want to scroll through, they can do that manually. But it does automatically go through if they don't change it. But you can change it to a lower number if you want it to slide through quickly. And that's really all there is to it. Everything in here is designed for mobile users, so that as you scale the page up and down for different devices, the image will actually scale. But the one thing I wanted to show you, and I'm going to use the web developer mode in my browser here, is on smaller devices, the title, the description, and the button, if we try to overlay it on top of the image, it just gets squished. It's hard to read. So it actually defaults to go below the slider, and that allows the full image to be viewed, and it allows the title and the description and the button to be viewed, and it's more user-friendly on smaller devices. People with fat fingers can still access the same things that you'd be able to access on a desktop. So that's it, folks. Really appreciate your time. I hope you enjoy it. Take care.